Your number one hit station in town.
Definitely, this is Blue Radio, number one hit station in town, and you tuned into the Friday Night Live with Likuyani Eli. And right about now, tukimalizia mambo ya siasa, I want to talk to one gentleman all the way from the US. This is a gentleman that has been behind the Kenya Kwanza government from the diaspora perspective, and Mr. Danson is here to speak to us.
This is Blue Radio.
Well, my name is Danson Mukile. I'm based in Washington, D.C., USA. I was the chief agent for the Diaspora UDA and at large Kenya Kwanza. And currently, I'm into the State Department for Diaspora Affairs and also coordinating the UDA activity globally. That is about 46 countries. So that is what I'm doing. As much as that, in terms of career, I'm an IT person focused in data engineering.
Great, and thank you so much for that. I mean, speaking to you makes a lot of sense, especially for the diaspora listeners. You have seen what has happened back at home. A lot of, maandamano. That was what it was called, the maandamano Monday. And then after the maandamano, we had the Thursday maandamano coming up. What is your view of this happening, sir?
It is so sad, Maneli. It is so sad that after every election, our leaders, especially on the opposition side, have to take this route. Because if you look at the economy after COVID, the economy was really going down. Now we went into election. And now after this, we're just like coming up, stabilizing the economy. Now we are taking the country back to the weekly maandamano. So I see it is a sad situation for us. And it's the time the opposition leader Raila Odinga has to think outside the box, and he cannot apply the same tactics after every year, every 5 years, or every electioneering period. It comes a time where the country is much greater than an individual, because when you look at it, if you go deeper in what he's looking for, it's actually it's personal. It's personal things he's looking.
A lot of people have argued that Mr. Raila Odinga does not speak for himself. He speaks for the population, and the population that is it today, they are suffering. The things that Kenya Kwanza government promise is not close to what we are seeing today. The economy is performing very poorly. The cost of living is quite high, and you cannot wash away the fact that there are real issues that this government has not addressed so far.
I do agree the economy is really in a bad shape, but this economy, it didn't start the last 6 months when Ruto became the president. It was there when Raila, he was together with Uhuru. He never used to say these things. He just said it recently, just because there are some things that are, that are not in the public domain that he's trying to, the government to do. But, because the president is focused on, making sure that his agenda is, is in place, now he feels uncomfortable, For example, if you look at the things with the constitutional changes, he says he stands for the constitution, but he's the one going against the constitution itself.
When we talk about picketing, we talk about protesting for the right of the people. We cannot say this is against the constitution. What is unconstitutional with this movement by the AZIMIO team?
It is true. I agree with you. The constitution is very clear about picketing and demonstration. But however, that same section says with unarmed. You and I, or if you're able to follow the maandamano that happened, you saw people carrying stones, people carrying weapons and throwing at the police, throwing at, closing up the shops, looting. For example, the Mweusi, he has lost millions of money. Is that a peaceful maandamano?
As it stands today, Danson, let us face it.
Yeah.
Kenyans are suffering. Today, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority just announced new rates for the electricity. And it is not becoming any better. What is the excuse, and how do you expect Kenyans to agitate differently, except the way that we understand better?
So there are avenues. For example, one of it is through demonstration, peaceful demonstration. That is guaranteed under our constitution. However, it's not peaceful. Number two is the parliament. Mr. Raila, or Honorable Raila, has his MPs under AZIMIO who can literally push the changes through the parliament.
The same,
but he's not taking
MPs
that route.
That the current government seems to be buying off, Danson?
Nobody's being bought off. If you realize that some of these members of parliament before the election, they were under coercion to join the AZIMIO party. Some of them, they were actually on the side of the president, but because of that situation, they had to choose. However, after the election, they felt that I'm still, I need to support the president. So it is not true that it has to be like the whole AZIMIO MPs coming up. Have you ever even seen one MP coming to parliament and maybe advocating for a motion or a bill from AZIMIO about the economy? None. They're just following what Raila is looking for, which means he's just looking for his personal gain.
For the sake of the country, are we going to see, and I don't say you speak on behalf of the president, Danson, just to be clear, but are we seeing a situation whereby the president and probably his, co-operators will decide to probably extend an olive branch to Mr. Raila and discuss matters?
I'll say discussions are going on behind the scene, but they have to be, what the problem is, we want it to be structured. We don't want that surprise so that you saw in Harambe house in 2018, where just two people showing up, the handshake. It has to be a structured conversation. Let him bring these issues that he's talking about, because Raila can access the president. He can, I'm telling you. His lieutenants, they are reaching out. So let him just discuss with the president and say, Mr. President, let us have this in a very structured manner, so that, we just continue the economy. Many people are suffering. They are losing their businesses. If you look at next week, Monday, many shops will close because people don't want to lose what they have. So I think the conversation will be there, but we are working that it has to be in a structured manner, not behind the curtains.
Okay, Danson, thank you so much for making time to be here. And Danson is, is a youth leader and, of course, representing the UDF Act all the way in the diaspora from US. And we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you for coming to our studios.
Thank you so much.
From Mombasa, Kenya. This